Royalties of peace turning the storm back to peace that has no storm. Looking onto perfect peace. How we are doing today, Wednesday 29th March of 2023. Yes, royalties of peace turning the storm back to peace that has no storm. Looking onto perfect peace. All about peace turning the storm. All about peace turning the storm. Had I mentioned about a drop into the ocean that causes a ripple, and ripple into waves, and the waves into a storm, an awareness of a storm, a need of peace during the storm, takes peace during the storm, holding on to perfect peace. Must we be able to have perfect peace before we can even address the storm? Before we can even enable the work of peace during the storm, we must first know the end goal. After diagnosis, you must know the end goal before you even endeavor the intervention onto wellness. You even get to be aware of the diagnosis because you are the end goal. Perfect peace. Like a drop into the ocean. Is part of the ocean, but falling is not our possession. Where we have the ripples, the identifying of a strangeness, meeting those of your own kind, shows that we are not in a stable state, though we are many, but not in a stable state. You hold not onto what you see, but onto the truth. Perfect peace. You can only be perfect where you have peace without a storm. Yes, royalties. Like it is supposed to be known that you need not go to the ocean to know what a drop of water is like, when it is sufficient of a cup to testify. Just a drop of water on your thirsty tongue, you know what quenching the thirst is like. Peace during the storm to perfect peace. Water, all about water. We've learned of the gaseous state, the liquid, the solid state of water. If you've studied physics or science, the need of ice to become liquid and the liquid to gas, and we know gas is the state of freedom. No friction, no collision. Also did learn about the sun at 42 degrees in contact with the droplet of water in the air. With droplets in the water with droplets of water in the air enable the rainbow that tries to shape the image of the sun, but it only gives us a half image because of the degree of the sun low at 42 degrees. Learning all this of the physical experience, like a concrete nature, must be able to work on it abstractly of the mind, brainstorming. It's amazing how brainstorming is being explained to be collecting positive ideas, not negative ideas. Brainstorming is working with each other, therapeutic communication, to reach a goal, the perfect goal. We know the rainbow coming from light, and the droplets gives us an understanding of Sir Newton's explanation of the primary colors, blue, red, and yellow. that comes from light. Learned that in physics. Learned that of physics when I was in secondary school, back when I was my childhood. And even to now, it's still the same theory. And I'm understanding that the intermediate color of these three is dark brown. The more bold or darker these three primary colors, the more dark the brown, and it's black. Why is the black intermediate when it comes from light? A beautiful explanation of falling short does not mean that you are falling short. Falling short is only a diagnosis. You are the light. When you're able to reflect of understanding that you with the crown, even when disorientated, the crown reminds you of who you were, the maker of the crown. It is very important for us to understand the three primary colors. We know of the white, the mix, the black. But now in the white, we know the are not really white. Neither the black really black, but brown. The three primary colors being blue, yellow, and red. The red Indians, you could call the mix. The blue and the yellow. It's funny how I've heard of yellow people coming from Africa and of blue people from the white people. They become blue and need blood. Yellow people, they will call the black girls who are light skinned yellow CC. It's funny how some things just, you can pop out explanation from everywhere. It's very interesting. You become blue when you need blood, even a baby of light skin. It's amazing when you cannot trace blue, red, yellow, what they really mean. We express it, interpreting what we see must be of recovery. It's not about just making up words. It's about when you know it's about recovering, you will make sure it puts all together. That's the beauty about us. Nothing lies, but rather a complicated way. There is no bad way, but we look one day the most easiest way to recover. Whatever strategy you bring for the sake of recovery, it fulfills. At the end, we're all black because black is one that has a shade. We're trying to get to light, meaning the spoken word. The word you don't see is the one in the mind. It's shaded. And when you speak it out, it's when it's of fulfillment, when the brainstorming is completed. The son in the father. The father is black. The father makes the son. The mind of perfect brings out the perfect spoken word without any disruption or babbling. They need to understand the rainbow, following the rainbow to the pot of gold. The pot is black. The gold is bright. It's amazing. It's amazing how when you reflect of expected mind, of peaceful mind, every word you've heard, even silly words, when you put them in order, it's funny how they make sense. Rather than being upset, let your mistakes become lessons and blessings. We heal back to one of battlefield free. Yes, the writing on the wall, like sketches of concrete expression. We work with these expressions of concrete nature to the abstract. The mind battlefield free we must be to reach our goal of being the perfect, of invisible light. For the light we see is even sometimes disturbing to the eyes. That testifies there's even a greater light than the light we see. That blinds some others. We're wrestling from the complicated of like collisions and afflictions. We're pistol in the storm. Education. Knowledge comes from everyone. The knowledge we learn today is not from one, but from everyone. Our ancestors, even the future, has given us knowledge. Because when you stand today, you can tell your yesterday and tomorrow of the knowledge we've gathered. Because every life is the same life. Then when you know the life of yesterday, you enable a lesson, you live your blessing. Your blessing is your future. Your fullness of knowledge is your future. When you learn the mistake of yesterday, of I'm fallen, and you find the diagnosis fallen, and you seek the end goal is to stand. Your process to the standing like a journey is our life of existence from ancestors to today. Now is to reach this end goal of perfect that we have in our hands already. You must have the end goal in your hand. You can't say, I don't know where I'm going. It means that you have known your diagnosis, but you haven't made the end goal. How do you even start intervention without an end goal? That when you're intervening, following the others, until you're able to understand the end goal, does not mean the end goal does not exist. Because you don't know doesn't mean somebody else doesn't know. Falling into different pieces, looking like the fingers. Some falling with short of knowledge because of anxiety, not because they are short of knowledge. It's just a matter of the anxiety of the fall. Sometimes you come when there are already ripples. Your ripple becomes like a storm because you meet a storm, but whether you're a ripple in the storm. Have you ever had rain falling when it's stormy and the ocean is stormy? It's a laughter because you don't even understand the drops because you're so overwhelmed with the waves. You don't even know that it's even raining with all the water that is pouring over you over and over. It takes some to really understand. Do you know it's even raining with a storm? How will I know when I'm even in the water, under the water? You know what I mean? It's very important for us to understand what it's like to be the ocean and the cup of water or the drop on your tongue. Fullness of knowledge and one recovery. All water. Ask the drop, who are you? I'm water. Then who is the other one? Ocean. I'm water. What is going on? Why are we divided? Why are some small, some greater? We need to fuse back to one. And it takes understanding of fullness of knowledge. And our fusing back is reversing every complicated, be it ice, liquid, or gaseous state. Of greater gaseous state is simplicity and freedom. You will not believe how free it is to be of the gaseous state, of perfect. We were expressing ourselves here of primary colors being the ice, the liquid, and the gaseous state. The other looking like sophisticated to the other. There is need of comprehension. They need to become gaseous state of perfect, and it's gracefully. Needing not becoming ice if you're liquid. Must the liquid already be going to being gaseous? Why the ice is trying to get better? You need not from liquid become ice before you become of gaseous. We need to start really fixing what we're really complicating here of reversing. Some will say you have to be ice before you become, you have to die first before you go up. You have to enter the grave. When you realize some can disappear, some appear. The question is, why are you even conceiving a child when others appear and having labor pain? You can't just say child exists and child do not exist. How do you even, at the end, you begin to realize, even if I can do that, why should I manipulate some other like that? I will not feel good if someone does that to me. You begin to walk with the right mind. When you walk with the right mind, you know what you're doing, and you're very careful of what you say appear and don't appear. That when the one that is feeling pain is able to go like, you know what? Because I was able to feel pain, I understand that I'm exhausted. Even if I don't feel the caring about the one coming, but I can't have any more because I'm really feeling pain. There's a reason why the supernatural is being prevented when you're human. Because you can stay contradicting of self for too long. We begin to understand what is really going on. Of some just, I don't care, I just want to keep on exhausting and going down so bad. Some don't even feel the pain until after 50 bottles, when some are just sipping the smell and getting drunk. They need to understand the recovery state is very important when you know your purpose of perfect peace. That even the gaseous state, you begin to realize they are not even really, really perfect. There must be a better perfect than that. The higher you go, you want to do better. The higher you go, you want to do better and not falling back. It's time for us to really seek wellness without addiction or affliction or shaming or complicating each other, but rather lullaby of wellness. If others have stood up and be like, you know what, dirty, get off my side. I tell you the truth. When someone says, clean up, you're like, I don't care about cleaning up. It's not because they don't care about cleaning up. It might have been the one that has come before you. When a nurse leaves all their patient looking so good and you come back and they're yelling at you, you're like, it's me, I don't care. You're like, wait a minute. You start feeling dumbfounded. It's time to realize, even of those that are in the gaseous state, there is struggle. It's time for us to recover and know that not only the patient needs healing, but also the nurses. Also, those that are caring need pampering. Don't only lullaby the other without lullabying yourself. Edify yourself and edify the other. We are all seeking perfect peace, of battlefield free. The need to exchange, of wellness and not the complicated grief. I don't give you wellness to take your complicated grief, but rather giving you wellness is you learning from me how to become well again of who you were. It's how we exchange. It's time we really begin to understand what is exchanging. I'm not trying to be exhausted, but rather you learning from me what you're missing and recovering. And there is something about you that I'm learning that you don't understand. It's your being able to heal. Amazes me. From the ice that you are, only I a liquid. Even gives me the power to become gas. Feeling like I'm falling from gas to liquid. And being able to see ice arise to being even liquid. And I'm like, you know what? We can become even gas. Or even better than even the gas that we see. Seeing how far you've tried to come so far. Being ice. When the water you see is so much of a storm. And you're like, please, sun, evaporate all of the water. That when you will all become of even above. And some falling down, you're like, it's impossible to stay up there. You begin to understand that there are impurities you carry with you. Anger, hate. Leaving some behind that you love. And ending halfway like, how can I reach this perfect when my brother is still down there? Some trying to enter with all anger, like I don't care about them. But what holding you is the I don't care when you're supposed to care. And some caring, holding them back. You begin to ask yourself, what is really holding us back? But rather us therapeutic communicating to realize that all of us must be able to be in of perfect peace, to be able to have perfect peace without a stormy side. Yes, it's time for us to really understand the beauty that we are of more than even gaseous state is the invisible perfect peace. No one left behind. Vengeance is not called upon, but rather our recovering to wellness. Will we understand the need to differentiate of how to recover should be of expected. When you have the end goal, you have the short term and the long term. Must you be able to accomplish the short term before the long term? If you accomplish the long term before the short term, you will never accomplish any. There is food. There is sex. Multiplying. However you call it. Whatever you tell a child how they came to this world. There is one that can heal the earliest possible than the other. We have two great addictions. Some will say it's food. Some will say no, it is sex. Multiplying. Yes, both are a problem. But what is the short-term one? The one that we can recover from is sex. Because you can live without it. But you can't live without food until you gracefully get out. Until you become an adult and you age and show the young how to live right until the right age. Because you never know which one may have to reach 90, may have to reach 80, may have to reach 120 or 130. Your best is required until your body can no longer do it. And then you can gracefully give way. You must not leave a cup behind if it's possible. If there's someone to teach us how not to leave a cup behind, the better. Because you don't want to leave your child with carcass. A baby eating from the mother's body from a car accident. What have we not heard that we need to walk upon? You find the baby how many days after the mother's parting the world, leaving the carcass behind. We were told to leave bodies. And the baby feeling, how do you explain this to the baby when the baby grows up feeling so broken, depressed? You will not believe what it's like for a mother living with a child in the house and the mother gives way and the baby is left. We are divided like stormy ripples. Not because she doesn't love the baby. Life is very complicated. Of how we fall. Some thinking they can handle even what the other can handle and find themselves disrupted, giving up. Not because they want to give up, but how much they thought they could take. Being equal above. But when you fall differently. Broken pieces of different sorts. Must be very careful how we recover. If we are recovering from food and sex, must we enable the first, the short term, and then the long term of expected. We know the long term is always gracefully. Long terms are always gracefully manageable. Short terms are curable. Long terms are manageable. Until you give way gracefully, knowing that we look for the least of what would give us remorse when we have left this state of being. Some will tell you, no, I can't quit from eating meat. You don't have to stress too much about it. Just keep living right. When you all get out there, you will understand better. And they will be able to heal with many of you that are able to heal. Do not compare with others, but live your best and still keep on shining the light of expected. They will be thankful that you are able to shine the light. They will be thankful there is someone who has the pieces all together and need to just gracefully advance. It's very, very sad when you think that you cannot advance and then no one is saying anything about the right. And you know the right, but you cannot turn. I'm sorry, I cannot walk. I pray I could teach you how to walk, child. The child is on his knees and the child can walk. Can somebody be there to teach the child how to walk than everybody trying to go on their crippled? It's very important for us to understand these differences that we have. Seeking wellness will help us so much, royalties. I hope this lesson today helps us to really reflect. This Wednesday lesson, the quench of thirst we need must not be like rebels making. The drop should be seeking wellness, and not a complicated grief, is what I'm trying to say. Peace turning the storm back to peace that has no storm, looking on to perfect peace. Thank you all for watching. Thank you.